most famous person, in my opinion.
And welcome back to Vanessa's podcast.
Children lyrically out of
So this is 102.5 Drew Garibo and his live. So let's listen a little. He's talking about one of his favorite actors, Tom Cruise, one of mine too.
I'm gonna have to cancel morning train, lady. Stand by. Where I came from, there's a place called heaven. That's a place where all the good children go. That's when they die, right? The houses are of silver, the streets are gold, but there's more where you come from, my sugar walls. Blood races to your private spots. I'm not making this up. Okay. It's not on a Samantha Fox level. You were. Other than.
So if you don't know about this radio, it's Tampa Bay radio station 102.5, and he's taking callers right now that have never.
Big Kev, George the Juice, and Baby Juice.
People who have never been on the radio before and have never made a call to a radio station ever in their life. So this is the day, the week to do it. You don't have to be in Tampa Bay. You can use Skype. You can make a call online. You can use your phone. You can listen in your car radio, whichever is best for you. But they do take calls either way. So we are 2 days from New Year's Eve, guys. Salut à tous, 2 jours avant la nouvelle année 2023. Si vous avez quelque chose à partager, partagez-le et écrivez-moi que vous voulez être interviewé et vous irez sur ma YouTube channel et toutes les autres chaînes que j'ai sur le podcast. Excusez-moi pour mon accent, je parle plus vraiment le français. Mais récemment, j'ai commencé à regarder pas mal de films français, dont mes anciens favoris acteurs, Depardieu, Daniel Auteuil, Clavier, Reynaud, Le Mercier, Gautillard, il y en a tellement. Et puis il y a aussi les drôles, les gars drôles, j'ai oublié leur prénom. Enfin bon, si vous avez quelque chose à parler ou vous êtes un comique et vous voulez venir faire un petit interview, ce serait cool d'avoir un peu de français sur cette station. So let's go back in English. Sorry, I probably lost you here, but I was just saying it would be nice and refreshing to have a French comedian or an actor or anybody who has something they want to share on an interview or face-to-face, and I will be shared everywhere. And it'll be about time we have a French speaker here, I guess. So I'm going to give you something interesting that can actually help you. So for the next 2 days before you decide on your new resolution next year. So I'm reading this book, Nonviolent Communication, and I'm just going to go through a few parts. Alright, so let's see. So there's a few things that we always struggle with. All us humans are there, self-forgiveness. So, turning our attention to the part of the self which choose to act in a way that led to the present situation, we ask ourselves, when I behaved in a way which I now regret, what need of mine was I trying to meet? I believe that human beings are always acting in the service of needs and values. This is true whether the action does or does not meet the need, or whether it's one we end up celebrating or regretting. So if we listen ourselves with empathy, and empathy here, we'll be able to hear the underlying need. This is the part that's tricky, that we don't listen to because there's too much noise around us. So it's like the little voice, little authentic voice that is yours, that we forget to hear, the little thing that we call instinct at times. So when we listen, then we can hear. Then we'll be able to recognize how our choice was an attempt to save life. Alright, so just going to do a few here and there and just take whatever is needed for you. So there's a few scenario in this book. So here's a scenario, person A and person B. One is empathic, one is non-empathic. Is conjugating and verbally expressing yourself in this way. So, person A, how could I do something so stupid? Person B, nobody's perfect. You're too hard on yourself. So, I'm sure you guess which one is empathic, which one is not. Person A, if you ask me, we ought to ship all of these immigrants back to where they came from. Person B, do you really think that will solve anything? Person A, you aren't God. Person B, are you feeling frustrated because you would like me to admit that there can be other ways of interpreting this matter? Person A, I think that you take me for granted and I wonder how you would manage without me. Person B, that's not true. I don't take you for granted. Person A, how could you say a thing like that to me? Person B, are you feeling hurt because I said that? So there's also something pretty good in here about how we're expressing a feel, the way we feel, expressing feelings, and how we actually express them. So kind of like what we went on with the Aimless Mirror, on the way we saying I feel this way, but acting this way, or I'm not really expressing my word in the right way. So, by example, so here's somebody saying, I feel you don't love me. So, this is the speaker is using someone else's feeling rather than how the speaker is feeling. So the right way will be, I am sad, I'm feeling anguished, instead of reflecting what the other one's feeling. There's another one, I'm sad that you're leaving. So this is in agreement with a feeling that is verbally expressed, because you are stating the result of a feeling, instead of just saying how you might think they're feeling, or just using the word fear. Alright, so I feel scared when you say that. And when you don't greet me, I feel neglected. So I feel scared when you say that is, let me see, is in agreement with the feeling. When you don't greet me, I feel neglected is not in agreement with the feeling. So, alright, so it expresses what the speaker thinks the other person is doing to him or her. An expression of feeling might be, when you don't greet me at the door, I feel lonely. So, in other words, expressing the way we feel by actually outstate the projection of the end result the outcome we actually wish to have, instead of dragging this down in our mind but not expressing it. In order to have the true feeling, sensation that you're feeling at the moment, it's better to just state what you actually want. What is it you want from the other person? What is it you would like to see change? So let's do one more. I feel good about what you did for me. So this one is this one is in agreement with a feeling because it was verbally expressed. But the word good is vague, so usually it's better to use a word that is more like close to relieve, gratify, or encourage than just something basic as good. A lot of people just in general always use the word good or great. I do that a lot too. And they forget that there's just so many other words that could be used to express the word good. So, let's get on to something else. So when we stay with empathy, we allow speakers to touch deeper level of themselves. So we know a speaker has received adequate empathy when we sense a release of tension, the flow of word comes to a halt. So same as being a good listener, if someone feels they express themselves fully and they've been understood, then they don't feel the need to keep talking. So when pain blocks our ability to emphasize, so this will be for people who just can't emphasize anymore, or just try but they just can't. It is impossible for us to give something to another if we don't have it ourselves. So likewise, if we find ourselves unable or unwilling to emphasize despite our effort. It is usually a sign when we are too starved for empathy to be able to offer it to others. Sometimes, if we openly acknowledge that our own distress is preventing us from responding empathically, the other person may come through with the empathy we need. So at other time, it may be necessary to provide ourselves with some emergency first aid empathy by listening to what's going on in ourselves with the same quality of presence and attention that we offer to others. So here's something the state former United Nations Secretary General Dag Hammarskjöld once said, the more faithfully you listen to the voice within you, the better you will hear what is happening outside. Okay, let's go to something else. Compliments are often judgment, however positive, of others. Diffuse stress by emphasizing with others. Diffuse stress by hearing our own feeling and need. Focus on what we want to do rather than what went wrong. That's another good one. We will often think about what just went wrong. So the ability to hear our own feelings and needs and emphasize with them free us from depression. When the use of force is unavoidable. So when two disputing parties have each had an opportunity to fully express what they are observing, feeling, needing, and requesting, and each has emphasized with the others, a resolution can usually be reached that meets the need of both sides. At the very least, the two can agree in goodwill to disagree. So it's a very structured and practical book that can really help you if you are in need of finding better communication with others, finding common ground, all of this. So you can also look up for anything else on the shorter and Writer's Digest, or just online, maybe on Google News or on Psychology Today or magazine. Alright, so let's go on a few more. To escape punishment. Some of us pay income tax primarily to avoid punishment. As a consequence, we are likely to approach the yearly ritual with a degree of resentment. I recall, however, from my childhood, how differently my father and grandfather felt about paying tax. They had immigrated to the United States from Russia and were desirous of supporting a government they believed was protecting people in a way that the Tsar had not. So imagine the many people whose welfare was being served by their tax money. They felt earnest pleasure as they sent their check to the US government. Okay, something to do to avoid shame. There may be some tasks we choose to do just to avoid shame. We know that if we don't do them, we'll end up suffering severe self-judgment. So hearing our own voice telling us there is something wrong or stupid about us, if we do something stimulated solely by the urge to avoid shame, we will generally end up detesting it. So the more you think about it, about doing something to avoid it, the more it's going to come back to you. So same for escaping punishment. You try to escape, it's going to come back to you. Try to avoid guilt, same thing. Anything that you intentionally do in escape of something that you fear will come back by twice its volume. Okay, so to avoid guilt, in other sense, we may think if I don't do this, people will be disappointed in me. We are afraid we'll end up feeling guilty for failing to fulfill other people's expectation of us. There is a world of difference between doing something for others in order to avoid guilt and doing it of a clear awareness of our own need to contribute to the happiness of other human beings. The first is a world filled with misery. The second is a world filled with play. So that's a pretty good example. And use positive language when making requests. So if we do that, we probably gonna get some pretty good results. Connect your feeling with your need. I feel because I need, or distinguish between giving from the heart and being motivated by guilt. So be able to distinguish the two. And if we express our needs, we have a better chance of getting them met. So I'm going to say that again. If we express our needs, we have a better chance of getting them met. And again, use a notepad and write this down. Write down your goals and dreams, and write down everything that you're grateful for. So I'm going to put this radio back on for a minute.
What I'm about to say is not designed to piss anyone off, and instead it's designed to get us all to agree to something in 2023, okay? At the end of this percussion, I'll tell you what it means. Almost there. That abrupt fade, by the way, was not me. I didn't fade it at all. That is the Spotify provided fade, probably the artist provided fade, and my opinion, a little abrupt. Could have stood to be a little more gradual. That's all. I'm not looking to critique anyone's fades, like I'm some sort of observer at a barber shop, but I guess I am. I said. So can we make 2023 the year we just separate kids from drag shows? Nothing against drag, the art form, the community, the performers. I think it's marvelous. The more popular mainstream Hamburger Mary's. You've got a few bars and clubs on Ebor's. Bradley's one of them. A few others. No longer the Honey Pot, which is really sad. I like that place. Shout out again to Abe and Miguel. I don't know if they're listening today, but boy, did we have a gays night out there. I mean, I'm probably not, but they all were, and it was fun and festive, and I enjoyed myself. Maybe a little too much, and so I respect it as an art form. It being drag, it being men performing in basically women's clothing. I don't know if there was a reverse drag, if women dress as men, or if that's just considered drag. I don't know enough about it to say so with any degree of authority. But as the perceived battle lines were drawn in this country, where people felt you had to be on this side or that side, you couldn't be, I see this side and that side. You had to either believe certain things, like the jab was going to keep you from getting the you know what, and if you didn't think that, then you wanted everyone to die and you're a terrible person, or if you believed in the freedom of an American to decide what to put in his body medically, or her body medically, you're an awful person who wants to kill people, whatever. I think the battle lines, unfortunately, got mixed up somewhere, and we stopped looking for commonality, and we just look for reasons to piss off the other side, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with taking your kids to a female impersonator show. Let's say a dude who's born a dude and identifies as a dude enjoys dressing up like Cher and singing "If I Could Turn Back Time" with maybe that oh so revealing, whatever it was, almost a tea bag that Cher wore in the video for that. Remember? On the battleship, I think it was. I know there was a bunch of semen around. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with you as a parent if you decide, Uncle Murray, he likes to dress up as Cher and perform as Cher. And he's dressed in Cher's beautiful hair of various colors.
He's got a really good point here. Totally get what he's talking about. And I wasn't born and raised in America, and I was still a kid when I got here. I was turning 19. So things were different, but I can see what he's coming from. Feels like we back in the 90s here.
And men and women giving gratuities for said sexualization, and there's twerking, and there's high heels, and there's a whole lot of raunchiness. I don't care if it's female impersonator, she-male. I don't care what the gender of the person doing that is. I don't think that's a place for kids. Don't think that's the best.
Alright, remember Drew Garabo to 102.5 and go listen and support them. There's also another crew in the evening. There's another guy. I forgot his name, but please go follow. Elias. They take a lot of calls from callers. And yeah, he's referring to people back 20 years ago when LGTB was just a thing for everybody, same as like he's saying, there's nothing wrong with just enjoying a cabaret and enjoying the art form, and the festivities, and be part of the just be part of the music and the theater and all this without having to be on one side or the other, or be ate. So I think maybe that probably has to do with some hate that formed the last 5 or 10 years against the community. Maybe it got too big. Some people hate it. They just kind of made it a thing instead of being a more of a peaceful thing, like anybody can be supportive without having to be bullied or discriminated or judged or be assumed by anyone just because they like to see a cabaret show, like I mentioned, or they just support other people, gender identity, all this. Nah, I think this is what's happening, and it's just so weird. I think people are just so a lot of confusion out there, and he's putting it in a way better words than I could ever put it, and it's it's sad. It sounds like there's a lot of pressure on both sides. That and I think that pressure is probably coming from people who are probably not not aware of it, just don't want to reveal, the feeling about it, about how themselves. So they probably repulse the idea, and it's probably how it's forming. So I think a lot of people, probably people who are coming from countries that weren't educated on subject, where it's a really disrespectful things in their country uh, to be a transgender, to be gay, to be uh, uh, transsexual, transvestite, whatever names out there. So since we have more and more immigrants from those countries living in America in the last 10-15 years, that will make sense. So the lack of education, and it just kind of forms its way up. Same with racism and other things, but it is really sad because it was much more at peace. I think everybody was on a more equal belt back then, with no one's criticizing anyone, no one's making judgment or any type of you know hate towards each other. So it's it would be good to just go back to its own thing, maybe where it's not maybe they made it less of a big deal. Maybe people will stop having so much hate. I think the more you push something on people, like when they had the parade, the rights, all this, the right of marriage, maybe this is what escalated the war. Who knows? Anyway, let's see. So, okay, I don't want to go any further on this episode. I just want to make sure that wherever you are in the world, you're having a good New Year's Eve this year, and you are going to make that one resolution just for the sake of it, and try to the sake of making that new year a different new year. So what I will challenge any of you to do is to pick something that is not just something like losing weight, or eating less, drinking less caffeine, less alcohol, but something new that you have not done in the past. So I will challenge you to say, by example, I will go on a safari this year, something you never done. In my case, I haven't gone on I haven't done parachute out of a helicopter. That would be something that I could challenge myself. Two, I haven't learned to shoot a gun in a range place and get a permit. That's something I could do. So think about something that you maybe wanted to do, maybe never wanted to do, but just something that's really challenging you, and you're going to stick to it. And I guarantee something are going to change for you. So remember, in order to change, we have to do something we might not want to do. We just have to open those new doors. New doors means new opportunities. New opportunities means new direction that will allow you to maybe appreciate your life a little better, or maybe get better things going for you. So depending on what it is you want for this new year, do you want things to get moving? Do you want to relax? Do you want to take care of your health? Do you want to do something for somebody else? Do you want to improve improve you don't know your addition. You want to improve there's so many things that you can improve your charm, improve your attitude maybe. There's just a lot of things that you could be working on this year. So comment, like, let me know what you did for the New Year's Eve, what are your plans, what you planning to do, and what is that challenge that you might consider doing. And at least if you do that challenge, at least go through with it. So there's no time frame on it. It's not like you have to do it in January, but you're gonna basically have an entire year to do it. So that's a lot of time. So at least this might actually be better than something too easy than you do for a month and then quit and you just bored you. If you do something that bothers you, it's not going to be exciting enough for you to retain, to want to keep. Also, did a little, the very short interview with a doctor from India today. It's on YouTube channel, Super Candle 30. Go check it out. Can't really hear, but I'm gonna add some more of his info. You can see his name, you can see him on his social media. And he also is a healer and he takes consultation. It's mainly focused on grief healing, and he was on here to discuss life and death perception in a spiritual and physical aspect. So again, let's end this year as a new and peaceful phase in your life and reopen a new chapter for 2023. So, Happy New Year everybody, bonne année à tout le monde, and yeah, let's keep this podcast going by, sharing as much as you can, participate, become a guest, and share it on your social media, and come join our group and need any story. Let's build a dream together, and go listen to our audiobook under search tab Be Creative at 16 on audible.com. Let us know if you want course and free book. Just comment and I will send you that as soon as possible. Alright, thanks for listening.